Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you like the content, make sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on and comment below my videos for any questions about the gear, the travels, the trips, or the fun having. Let me know in the comments section. In this video, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about why I use which kite inside the duotone range and what I use each one for, from the Neo through to the Dice, to the Rebel, and then finally the Evo. It's the whole main freeride range inside the duotone brand, and each kite does something specific for the ultimate freeride shred, and hopefully it will help you choose which kite you choose inside the duotone range. Let's get into the video.
Caught in the act on my YouTube channel.
So over the 25 years that I've been kite surfing, I have learned a lot about the different disciplines inside the sport, and one of the things that I love about kiting is it is so varied and versatile as to what you can do and how you can ride and the conditions you can tackle. But one of the most important things about kiting is to choose the right equipment for the job. And I've done every mistake in the book when it comes to this. I've ridden the wrong kites in the wrong situations pretty much my whole career. But now we get into the zone, especially inside the duotone range, where we really try to develop the equipment specifically for each individual discipline and for each situation, so that your kite can perform the best it possibly can when you're confronted with tricky conditions. So that's why for wave riding specifically, I use the duotone Neo. I use this in small sizes from the 5 meter to the 7 meter, because when you're wave riding, you really don't want so much power in the kite. But the Neo is really designed to tackle waves. It's incredibly low aspect and stable in the sky, very smooth and responsive through the turn when it comes to bottom turns and top turns, a huge amount of stalling and slack ability, which gives it the possibility to drift down the line when you're ripping your bottom turns and recover really quickly when you're hitting the lip, and allows me to tackle very gusty and sketchy, usually offshore conditions that are associated with good wave riding. So for waves and smaller sizes, the Neo is my choice. Moving to my left, we're going to go up to the big air section, and this is, for me, all about the Dice SLS. And since we've introduced the SLS construction into the range, the Dice performance has gone through the roof with slightly lighter weight materials and a really tightened up responsive design. It's just my favorite all-round sports car kite for tackling just varied, strong wind but big air conditions when it comes to big loops, storm conditions, and sort of safety on the water in those sketchy spots. The Dice is my freeride kite of choice for big air, kite loops, and tackling whatever is thrown at me when it comes to those strong wind days. So I use the Dice in the mid-range of sizes from the 7 up to about the 10 or 11 meter, because that's the sort of conditions where you can really tackle the strong winds and push the loops the hardest. So the Dice is my mid-range size kite. At this point, I will mention that back in the day, I did a lot of unhooked freestyle riding, and one kite that isn't in this freeride lineup is the Vegas, which is the best kite and the only sea kite in the duotone range for unhooked and pure wake style riding. So I'm sorry that I don't have it in this lineup. This is my sort of free ride lineup of kites here, but I'm moving on to a kite that back in the day I would never have ridden, and that is the Rebel SLS now. And it's also the Rebel Concept Blue here. And I wouldn't have ridden this back in the day because it's a very specific, highly tuned, light wind, big air machine in my opinion, and it has massive hang time ability. So if you're looking to do board offs or get going when the wind's a little bit lighter and just really have a sort of maximum efficiency ride with a sheet and go feel and lots of feedback on the bar, the Rebel is probably the kite that you should choose, and it's the kite that I choose when I'm in medium to light wind conditions. If I'm looking to do board offs and more old school tricks, the Rebel really helps me have a bit more time in the air and just get that lift when the dice or slightly lower performing high wind kites just wouldn't keep you up there. So the Rebel Concept Blue is my light wind kite of choice for 2025. Okay, so now I'm into the light wind section of my quiver and I move on to the Evo D-Lab. And now this, in lighter winds, is where the D-Lab construction really comes in my opinion, with light wind performance and those performance on those days where you really don't think you're going to get going. The 13-meter Evo D-Lab is my light wind kite of choice for the 2025 season and the top end of my freeride quiver. If it's too light for a 13-meter, for me personally, I'd do something else. But the D-Lab construction really comes in when it comes to that light end performance, when it comes to just getting you planing when nothing else would, the kite being really stable in the air. And the Evo itself as well is a really well-balanced, well-rounded and low-end powerful kite that just gives you the sort of control and performance elements that it takes to get going in light wind and still have a really good time on the water. So that's the overview of my 2025 kite quiver, why I personally choose to use the different kites inside the duotone range and what I use them for. And I hope this helps you to choose which kite you're going to use in 2025 inside the duotone range. If you find this video helpful, make sure you like and comment below. Please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for content every week.